it's Anissa. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we did one of my favorite videos to film for you guys, and it turned out so good. We are doing a full face of first impressions, testing specifically all drugstore makeup. If you guys are interested to see how I came up with this look, then make sure to keep on watching. But before you go any further, please don't forget to thumbs this video up and subscribe. I post on this channel every 4 days, so you never have to miss me for too long. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. Guys, it is time to try out a bunch of new drugstore makeup. Pretty much everything is new except for 2 or 3 products in here. I always start by outlining my brow with a pencil, and then I will fill them in with a pomade. Sometimes I'll use just a pencil, but I have a brand new pencil and a brand new pomade, so I figured we would do both. For my eyebrow pencil today, I'm going to be using this Morphe Micro Brow Pencil, and this is in the color Java. I really like a mix between a black and a brown. I don't like just straight black. Initially, just swatching this pencil on my hand, it is a little bit more rough, so I'm interested to see what the feeling of this is going to be on my brows. And this is dual-ended, so on one side there's product, and then on the other there is the spoolie. It's not anywhere near as rough actually applying onto my eyebrow as it was on my skin. Now sometimes products kind of have like a seal on them when you've never used them. Kind of have to like break that cast on top, so maybe that's what it was. I'm trying not to fill them in too much because I do have that new pomade. I'm gonna go ahead and outline the other one. This is what they look like just outlined. I haven't filled them in or anything, haven't cleaned them up. It wasn't awful. Now granted, I do carve out my brows, but I really like when I'm brushing out product. I really like when it doesn't smudge, and you guys can see especially over here on my arch, it kind of did smudge. We're gonna go ahead and fill them in with a little bit of pomade. I'm going to be using this Revolution Brow Pomade, and this is in the color Dark Brown. Just to show you that's what the color looks like. It's very waxy. Sometimes I will go over my arch just a little bit. I don't completely fill in the front part. I feel like this brow looks really, really muddy. You don't need very much product. I have just dipped into my product once for each brow. What do you guys think? I think I just need to clean them up, and then once I get them cleaned up, maybe I'll be able to tell you guys a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the bottom of them, and hopefully that will kind of help me see the vision a little bit better. So I will be right back because I don't have a new pot concealer. I went ahead and cleaned up the bottom part of my brows, and I'm definitely a lot more happy with the way that they look. I feel like both of these products are pretty smudgy. If you're somebody that doesn't clean up your brows, I probably would not recommend using products that are more smudgy. Now there's other products that I really love that tend to smudge like that too, like the e.l.f. Lock On Lighter Brow Cream. But the reason they smudge is because they're so super creamy. I don't think these are bad. If you clean up your brows, I would definitely recommend using these. I was a little bit scared with this one at first because it did kind of tend to pull on my hand, but when I put it on my brows, it did not tug or pull or anything like that. Really, really good pigment. It is on the thicker side, I will say that. With brow pomades, what you can do, if you like more of a brown liner, you can always double up your pomade as an eyeliner too. So just a little tip for you guys. I went ahead and did one eye. This is what it looks like. Pinkish, orangish type of moment going on over here. And then I have a little bit of winged liner. For eye primer, I went ahead and used this brand new JUVIA'S Place Eye Prep Eye Prime Eye Color, and this is in the color Shade 2. I literally just bought this yesterday. Skips in between these shades 1, 2, and 3 is huge because I almost bought 3. I'm not gonna complain because it does make me happy that they finally are coming out with an eye primer that is that dark, because there are people that are that dark. I'm glad that I got shade 2 because I've actually been liking my eye primer to be a little bit lighter than my skin tone. That way it can really help the shadows pop. Now this you do not need a whole lot of. I am super excited to show you guys the eyeshadow palette that I have today. I have had this for probably a good 3 or 4 months, and I have not even touched it yet. This is from the brand Profusion, and this is the Mirage palette. This is actually a brand that you can only find at Walmart. My Walmart does not have a huge selection of Profusion. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I honestly had no issues blending out these mattes. They have a really nice pigment to them. They're very blendable. Say like I put one color on top of another, I can definitely tell. I even used a couple bright colors just to see if that buildability existed. In my personal opinion, I feel like a lot of these colors are similar. Like pretty much all these mattes over here are really similar. All these mattes over here are really similar. There's not a whole lot of darker colors that could be used for, you know, adding dimension, adding depth. I did have to dip into another palette for one color. If anything, I would like take out some of these shades that look really similar and replace them with something different. But this is actually the first palette that I have that has actual glitter shadows in it. So I went ahead and used one of those. First, just as a transition color, I mixed this color down here with this color up here. And and I went ahead and put those in my crease. And for how inexpensive this palette is, I was honestly really impressed with how easy it was to work with, because I've tried a lot of eyeshadow palettes that are actually way more expensive than this and do not even perform this well. I feel like a lot of companies try to compensate for the quality of their eyeshadows by just putting in a whole bunch more, when really they should just be focused on making sure that they're good quality. And I feel like there's a really good balance between that. Now, using a flat eyeshadow brush, I went ahead and put this color all over my lid, and I was actually really shocked at how much pigment this had just from like one pack of color. So I'll show you guys. Just going in with that blending brush, blending the crease shade and the lid shade together. Then I went into this e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette, and I just took this color down here, Cacao, and I put that on the inner and outer portion of my eye to help create that halo eye effect. Dragging it at the top to connect it like so. This hot pink right here really fascinated me. So I'm just taking a smaller blending brush, and I use that, and I just put this all around along the top part of my crease. And you guys can see, that's what I mean when I say that these build very well. You can mix colors together and one color isn't gonna overpower another color. And I'm not even using a whole lot, but I just wanted enough to like kind of make that pink show up. This was the funny part, guys. Okay, so I went ahead and did a shimmer in the inside of my lid before putting the glitter on. The shimmer shades do not do very well with your finger, but they did really well when I used a brush and setting spray. Just sprayed a brush with a little bit of setting spray, and you guys can probably tell which one I used. I used this orange right here. You do have to dig into them a little bit. I don't know if it's because of the way that they're pressed, if they're pressed really firmly or what, but I kind of broke it up a little bit in the pan to make it really easy to pick up and pack onto the lid. And then I'm just putting that in the center of my eyelid. And I like to use a smaller brush, that way I can be a little bit more precise with my placement. And then just slightly blending out those edges. I'm really not too concerned with the blending right now, because I'm gonna do that more with the glitter. It was funny because with the glitter shades, they did better with my finger, and they did awful with setting spray and a brush. So the shimmers and the glitters are opposite. I honestly am regretting, I should have done this pink up here because I have a hot pink top on. What was I thinking? Taking this orange shade, and it has a couple specks of like purple and silver in it. Just taking a little bit on my finger. It does so well with your finger. The tools that you're using to apply your products are just as important as the products themselves. And then once again, just taking that and blending out slightly in that outward motion. I really like this eyeshadow palette, especially for the price. Again, my only critique would be that some of these colors are very, very similar. You will tend to find that more with palettes that are bigger in quantity. They kind of just like replicate colors, but like change them and make them a little bit lighter or a little bit darker. And in my opinion, I would rather have a variety instead of things that are really close to each other, because when you have that variety, it gives you the ability to mix and be a little bit more creative. If using tape is your technique for doing eyeshadow / eyeliner, especially if you're doing eyeliner, do not pull them off as soon as you get done, because your eyeliner will bleed. While I let that dry, I'm just gonna take a makeup wipe and wipe off. Somehow I got glitter on my chin, but just wiping off any excess eyeshadow. And surprisingly, these really did not have a lot of fallout either. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull these off and pray that they're somewhat even. This wing is higher than this wing. Oh, I hate when that happens. You guys see? Well, it's not super noticeable. If you do want to go back and fix something once you pull them off, those e.l.f. eye tapes are really sticky. And also why I recommend those over tape is because they have like a cloth material on the top. They're really good for catching excess eyeshadow, which really helps with fallout. We are finally ready for my favorite part of makeup, which is complexion. So I have a lot of new products. I have a more oilier skin type, so I do like to use hydrating primers, but I never use them by themselves. So I'll use like a hydrating primer with a poreless primer, or a hydrating primer with a mattifying primer. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. It's just a little bit of an extra skincare step to make sure that your skin is still hydrated, because just because your skin is oily does not mean that you don't put moisturizer on or you don't put those hydrating products on. Your skin still needs moisture. For my hydrating primer today, I'm just going to be using this NYX Hydrating Jelly Primer. I really love the concept of this because it comes in a jar and it has a fun jello consistency. I've never used anything that is truly a jelly consistency. I think the closest thing that I've tried to it would be like the Huda Beauty Hydrating Jelly Primer, but this is truly like a jello consistency. I like to use hydrating primers that are gel based because they are a little bit lighter. So it's not gonna clog your pores, especially if you have oilier skin. And it is a little bit tacky. The thing that I hate about some hydrating primers is that they will leave your skin like with a type of oily film that doesn't even look like your skin is hydrated. It just looks like it's oily. And it almost kind of dried down to be a little bit mattifying. And I've never seen anybody talk about that. Next, to help with the texture and the pores on my face, I am going to use a pore filling primer. And today I'm going to be using the COVERGIRL TRUBLEND Base Business Pore Minimizing Primer. It claims to visibly reduce and blur pores while mattifying shine, and creates the perfect canvas for foundation, long-lasting, weightless feel, oil-free. And it's actually purple. I thought the packaging was just purple, but no, that's the product. It doesn't feel super silicone based at all. It actually feels more like a lotion. Most pore filling primers that I've tried tend to have a more silicone feeling. This has an interesting smell, and it either could be the product or it could be the fact that I really have not tried a whole lot from COVERGIRL. Certain brands like Huda Beauty and Fenty Beauty, all of their products pretty much smell the same. They have like that signature scent. It smells like very skincare based. I like to first put the product in my areas that are super pore heavy and texturized. And for me, that's pretty much my T-zone. So right here, and then really on the sides of my nose and almost into my upper cheek. Then I will apply it to the rest of my face. I really like to make sure that the product is really worked into those areas. And I feel like just working in a smaller section. This is slightly burning. I'm not sure if it's because I've been picking my face like crazy, which is why it's so red, or if it's the actual product. Right after you blend it in, it's not even like a burning, it's just like a slight sting. Like when you use salicylic acid pads, that feeling that you get, that kind of like stings, but you're okay with it because you know that it's just the salicylic acid working. I know I'm not the only one. It did take away a little bit of the tack that that hydrating primer gave to my face, but it does feel a little bit smoother. They have a couple different primers, and I did pick up a few more of them. You guys will see those distributed throughout upcoming Full Face of First Impressions. Next, I am bringing back an old technique. I have started setting my primer with powder before going in with foundation. I'm gonna use the same translucent powder that I'm gonna be using all over my face. If you are really wanting to know if a powder is truly translucent, setting your primer first with it will usually tell you how translucent it actually is. Today, I'm going to be using this LA Girl setting powder, and this is in the color Translucent for all skin tones. It has a little puff in it, which I'm actually going to use the puff to apply the product. I have been loving powder puffs, especially for pressed powders. If you're somebody that doesn't like wearing a whole lot of makeup and you just want your skin tone to be even, use a powder puff with your pressed powder. Uh-oh. You don't want to use a whole lot here. You just want to use enough to kind of help mattify everything, because if you use too much, it's going to very, very easily make your makeup that you put on top of it look super, super cakey. And I especially like to get right in here where my pores are super huge, because it also helps to smooth out texture, to make sure that I'm knocking off any excess powder to avoid cakiness. Just taking a powder brush. I feel like the things that you do to prep for your makeup are just as important as the makeup itself. You're just making your makeup that goes on top of its life easier by ensuring that it has good products that are underneath it. And actually, this is a really soft powder puff, so this is going in my drawer. It is time for foundation, and this is not a super brand new foundation, but I've never tried it, so it's new to me. This is the MILANI Conceal and Perfect Medium to Full Coverage Foundation, and I got the color 13 Chestnut. Can we just appreciate the fact that this is in a glass bottle and it's drugstore? If the drugstore can do it, anyone can. And it comes with a pump. I think the most trifling thing a high-end brand can do is make you pay $50 for a foundation and then want you to pay another $20 for a pump. Girl, what? I went ahead and pumped 2 pumps out. I'm gonna put a little bit on my neck. Okay, that's a little bit warm. I've been using these NYX Total Control Hue Shifters, and this is in the color Cool. So this is supposed to help neutralize anything that would be really warm. I haven't tried these, so this is also brand new. I have been trying the light ones. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a few dots of that in there. That actually worked. Since I'm trying this one for the first time, and I actually really do think that it helped neutralize it a little bit. Ever since quarantine happened, it has been so hard to find like an exact match for foundation. And to be quite honest with you, I really only have like a handful of foundations that really match me well. Using these drops, I've been kind of experimenting, and I've realized that it's okay to buy the wrong shade as long as I can adjust it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this e.l.f. Complexion Trio Sponge on this side of my face, and then we'll do a brush on this side. But this foundation is actually pretty thick. Just from the first coat, I would say that this is definitely more of a medium coverage. I love when I can blend out a foundation and I don't have to wait for it to dry. And I'm just using a little bit on my forehead. I never use very much, just enough to even everything out. The foundation is a little bit on the thicker side, but it was actually really easy to blend out. Which sometimes I found that if foundations are too thick, you cannot blend them out with a sponge. It doesn't say on the bottle that it claims to have a matte finish, but I definitely think this is like matte, semi-matte. Getting an up close look, it actually does not look bad. So I do want to go ahead and build this up a little bit just to see if it truly is buildable. And guys, keep in mind when you're building, you really do not need to add a whole lot more, just enough to give like a little bit more coverage. I definitely think that that is buildable. I'm still not getting super full coverage, but I feel like there is more coverage than there was with just that one layer. And as of right now, it's not feeling super heavy because some foundations will do that. I think it looks really pretty. I don't know if it's a little bit too red for me or what, but I'm gonna fix that with a powder. So I'm not too worried about that right now. Just taking a flat top kabuki brush. Oh, okay, well now this is definitely full coverage over here. I find this with most foundations, you will usually get more coverage with a brush than you will with a sponge because although a brush does hang on to a little bit of your product, a sponge will tend to soak up a little bit more of it. I definitely feel like I don't need a second layer over here. One layer of the brush was pretty much equivalent to 2 layers of the sponge. I was actually getting a little bit worried that I was gonna have to mix a little bit more product, but I actually have enough to go in and carve my brows. Okay, I'm actually a lot happier with the brows now that they are completely carved out. I actually really like this foundation. I love the fact that it comes in a glass bottle. Love the fact that it has a pump. I'm not sure how I feel about the color still. Like I said, it's not hanging onto my skin really weird. It actually looks very, very skin-like, but it has a really good coverage to it, which I appreciate. To stay with the trend of the Milani complexion, I'm going to use the concealer that goes along with it. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Longwear Concealer, and I got the color 160 Warm Tan. So I figured that I could try these together. A really thin consistency, but I can tell that this is gonna have a really good coverage. Just going in with my sponge. I don't know, I feel like I've just tested so much concealer that I can tell just from application most of the time if it's gonna have good coverage or not. I really, really like that because it was actually really more on the watery side. I love when a concealer is, you know, not super thick and also really full coverage. Now keep in mind, I really don't mind thicker concealers because I do like that full coverage look. So as long as it's full coverage and thick, that's fine. I should have let that sit for a little bit and tack up. That way I could have had even more coverage. We're freaking winning today. Went ahead and did a little bit of cream bronzer because I did not have a new one, but we do have a new cream blush. I've tried another color in this, and what I hate about these, they never put the color on here. So I'm pretty sure that this is either Tahiti or Bali, but it's a really pretty, like warm brownish blush. I like these more with a sponge. And what I love about these two, personally, I really don't mind if a blush is super glowy if it's a cream because I end up setting it anyways. This is kind of has more of like a soft matte finish, but you guys look at this color. It is gorgeous. My camera battery is flashing, so hopefully we don't die in the middle of this. Sometimes when a brand comes out with multiple colors and things, only certain colors are good. From Drugstore blushes that I have tried that are cream, I really love these e.l.f. ones. They're so pigmented, you get a lot of product for the price, and you'll probably never have to repurchase them because you don't need a whole lot of product. I'm actually not going to be setting my eyes with loose powder. For once, I do have like a brightening powder to try today, which I'm really super excited about. I think this is brand new because I didn't see it last time I went to Ulta, the time before I bought this. This is the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder, and this is in the color 10 Bad Banana, and it says you can use it for baking or use it as a banana powder. So I'm just gonna use this solely underneath my eyes. Just gonna take a littler powder brush. And I really wanted to see if this was CoverGirl friendly because I know a lot of brightening powders claim to brighten, but they don't brighten for everybody. Since my camera's about to die, I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture afterwards with the flash to show you guys what it looks like. Did a really good job of smoothing and mattifying. So we love that. Powder my whole face using this translucent powder. Really, really finely milled. Oh, yeah, she's not flashback proof. Well, if I ever come across a powder that I like, that looks good, without flash, I will use it as long as I know 100% that I'm not going to be taking flash pictures. If you're a girl of color and you're gonna be taking pictures, do not use this. Now I'm going to set my face using this LA Girl setting spray. That smells really good. It has like a slight, I don't love coconut, but that actually smells good. It smells like skincare. This isn't a new highlighter. This is just a different shade of a highlighter that I already love. This is the Maybelline Master Chrome Face Studio highlighter in the color 200 Molten Topaz. I absolutely love the color that I have now. It's hands down one of my favorite highlighters in general. So when I saw that they had a little bit more of a gold shade, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, we have to try this. And it's looking gorgeous. So that makes me happy. You know what I just realized? I'm about to take a picture with flash. Sorry guys, I'm talking fast because my camera's about to die. I'm going to do my lips, and I have a new lip liner and a new lipstick. This is the ColourPop Lippie Pencil in the color BFF2. Ooh, that's like a perfect nude. I know these are new. This is the Maybelline Ultimate Matte Lipstick, and this is in the color 999 More Truffle. These are so pigmented, and they're actually not very dry feeling. I'm actually gonna go take my pictures and then let my camera battery charge a little bit and then come back and talk to you guys. I'm back and I have composed myself. I realized that I didn't finish underneath my eyes and my mascara, but I kind of rushed there at the end, so I wanna go back and talk a little bit about the products that I used. I wanted to go ahead and finish my under eyes off. Even though I'm literally about to take this makeup off, I still felt like I needed to. I'm gonna go ahead and use this orange. The beginning of this video feels like a really long time ago, so I like to go ahead and recap through everything. And also sometimes while I'm doing my makeup, I'll notice little things about other products that I want to say at the end. I like both of these. They're both really, really pigmented, really nice to work with, very easy to work with. Be careful, especially if you don't do your brows first, and especially if you don't carve them out. There are so many products that I used to use that I loved on my brows, but they were just too creamy and they'd smear and they'd ruin your foundation, so you couldn't use them. If you guys don't do your eyes first, I would really recommend just trying it. I used to be like you. I used to be like, no, that's crazy, I'm never gonna do it, and then I tried it and I never looked back. It opens a new door for opportunity as far as using products. Like, you're not limited to using only certain products, because although they're good, they do have that like imperfection. That doesn't make them bad, it's just a flaw. I really like this eye primer. I am very, very, very impressed with this eyeshadow palette. Like I said, the only thing that I would change is kind of take out a few of these colors and put in some like darker colors. I'm very excited to try more palettes from them. I love finding stuff that's affordable and that has a lot of variety, because they're great to recommend to you guys. Out of the two primers, these were both good, but I really, really like this. I think it's because I've never even tried anything like this. It truly is like a jello consistency. It feels so magical on the face. This one, I also liked that it was pore filling, but it wasn't super silicone based. So I know that there's a lot of you guys that don't like using silicone. Now, this loose powder, if you're gonna be taking pictures, girl, don't use this. But it's very, very finely milled. I've never tried a powder that is so super soft. I really, really love the foundation and the concealer. Now that I'm thinking about it, I did want to mention, I have heard people either love this or they hate it. There's no in between. So I was really kind of nervous to try this because y'all know my luck is really just not the best, but I really, really like this, and I love the concealer too. I will also be using these, and I'm excited to kind of pair them with different products and also see how they wear throughout the day. One good thing that came out of that flash test, this does not have flashback, guys, which is so super amazing. I feel like the newest makeup trend right now is like eye brighteners, which I do have a video reviewing the new Fenty Beauty eye brighteners in the making right now. I usually do not just set my under eyes with pressed powder. I really love to set them with loose powder, because I just feel like loose powder really soaks into the skin beautifully, especially underneath the eyes. If you are a girl of color, you don't have to worry about putting this under your eyes and having two white triangles, is what I'm trying to tell you. The blush, I was impressed. Not even surprised. I love the fact that they have a lot of variety and they have a lot of variance in color. These are the closest thing that I have found to a formula that is similar to the Becca highlighter formula. If you guys didn't know, Becca is going out of business. You'll be seeing her a lot. I did not hype these lip products up enough. This is the first lippy pencil that I have tried from ColourPop. I have a whole bunch in my drawers that I'm waiting to try, and I love the fact that it is matte, but it also was really creamy. You guys saw it was sliding onto the lips very nicely, wasn't tugging or anything like that. So I'm excited to keep on trying these and to try some other colors. Since the pandemic started, I have been wearing more matte lipsticks, just because I do like to wear gloss, but I don't like to wear lipstick and gloss because it comes off faster, versus if I have on a matte lip, it dries down a little bit better. This is so comfortable on the lips, and I love the fact that it's not bleeding onto my teeth or anything like that. It's not really accentuating a lot of my texture. And then the setting spray is nice. I can't really tell if it mattified or if it just soaked everything in because I was pretty matte to begin with. So I'm gonna have to try this with a couple other things, but I really love the spritzer on this, and it has a very nice light fragrance to it. Nothing that's super overpowering. That is it for today's video. I am very happy with the look that we were able to come up with. If you guys have tried any of these products, let me know what your experience is with them. Or if you plan on trying any of these products, please let me know down in the comments. I love to hear your guys' thoughts and what makeup interests you and what doesn't interest you. If you guys love this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I post on this channel every 4 days, so you never have to miss me for too long. And lucky for you, if you love these type of videos, I have a whole playlist of full face of first impressions, testing new makeup, full face of one brand tutorials, for full face of black owned brands, a whole bunch of stuff. It's a gold mine in there. So I will leave that right up here for you guys to check out, or right up here. I always forget. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.